Hi everyone, my name is Addison and I am a Girl Scout earning my Silver Award. For my project, I've been researching the stories of really impactful women all throughout history, and I'm sharing the stories of them to all of you. You can check out my other videos for stories on other people, because there's a lot of them and they're all really fun and creative. Today we're going to be sharing the story of Venus and Serena Williams. They are sisters and they are also really, really incredible and quite famous tennis players. So the book we'll be reading today is called Game Changers, the story of Venus and Serena Williams, written by Lisa Kline Ransom. Venus and Serena Williams, V and Mika, two peas in a pod, best friends. Everybody who saw them knew they were as close as two sisters could be. They grew up in the shadows of each other. First, Venus was born in June of 1980. Little sister Serena came right behind her in September of 1981. Whatever Venus did, Serena followed. So when their father took Venus to the tennis court to begin lessons, Serena begged to go along. Six days a week, they rose before the sun. Sleepy-eyed, the girls rolled out of the bed they shared, climbed into their dad's run-down VW bus, and squeezed between their three older sisters' rackets and a shopping cart filled with tennis balls and brooms. Between the early morning dark and the first light of the day, the girls stretched and warmed up, then swept the courts clean of broken glass and trash before their first practice of the day began. Neighborhood folks laughed at a father, Richard, with tennis ambitions and a Compton address. But Richard's dreams soared far beyond the rough and tumble streets outside of Los Angeles County, California. From the beginning, tennis was a familiar affair, first with the three older sisters, Yatunde, Lindria, and Isha. When they lost interest, the younger girls stepped in. Richard practiced with Venus in one court while Oracene, their mother, hit with Serena on the other to the cheers of their sisters on the sidelines. It wasn't long before their father's dream became their own. Venus and Serena didn't have time for friends or sleepovers or trips to the mall. Tennis filled their days. Side by side, they whispered into the night. "Do you really think I can do it?" they'd ask each other. "Do you really think I have a chance?" Sound asleep, tennis filled their dreams. "If I didn't play tennis, I don't know where I'd be," Venus told everyone. They threw footballs to improve their serves, tossed rackets into the air to build strength, and chased second-hand tennis balls so flat they learned to run faster to hit their low bounce. Not having expensive training equipment and professional coaches meant they had to make up their own drills. Off the courts, they worked to improve their speed with track, and their flexibility with ballet. When gunshots rang out in the distance, Richard reminded them, "Never mind the noise, just play." But when shots from the neighborhood's rival gangs whizzed near the courts, the girls quickly learned to drop their rackets and lie still until the shooting stopped. The public courts of East Compton Park, with grass poking through cracks in the cement and chain-link nets, looked nothing like the courts they saw on television, where their favorites, John McEnroe, Monica Seles, and Pete Sampras, played. By the time Venus was 4, she could hit 500 tennis balls at every practice. By the time she was 7, she began playing in junior tournaments. Playing on Compton's public courts kept the girls hidden from much of the tennis circuit. But when Venus won every single one of her 63 junior tournaments by age 10, with Serena not far behind, word of the Williams sisters spread. "Whatever you become in your head first," their mother preached daily. With their talent grew confidence. At 12, Venus announced she would win Wimbledon. In 1994, at 14 years old, Venus played her first professional match at the Bank of the West Classic in California. Tennis critics took notice after the young newcomer's combination shots and her return of serve helped her soar past higher-ranking players to advance to the second round. Overnight, Venus went from an unclassified ranking to number 313 in the world. "Your time will come," Venus comforted Serena, sad to not be sharing the spotlight with her sister. When the press surrounded Richard, asking if Venus would be the next number one player, Richard smiled. "Have you seen my other daughter, Serena, play?" One year later, it was Serena's turn. Within 3 short years, both girls ranked in the top 50. Long-legged, brown-skinned, beaded, cornrowed sisters stood out in a sea of white tennis attire, white fans, and white opponents. They dressed as they pleased in their own designs. During matches, they hit so hard, sometimes the rubber bands in their hair broke, scattering beads across the court. Tennis had never seen anything quite like them. Many tennis fans cheered the energy and powerful playing of two fresh faces in tennis. But sometimes the sisters were threatened, booed, and taunted by others, not happy to see them competing in a nearly all-white sport. They'd heard those words years earlier when their father brought in busloads of neighborhood kids to surround the practice courts as they played. "Do your best," he told the kids, and paid each and every one to hurl the worst words his daughters might hear during their matches. Now, whenever those same words tumbled from the stands, they fell as flat as second-hand tennis balls. Words and gunshots, hatred and doubt couldn't slow the rise of the two sisters, who called themselves the greatest story in tennis. They loved the same bands, laughed at the same jokes, wore the same clothes. Only on the court were they different. There, Serena was as strong as Venus was fast. Venus was as gracious as Serena was aggressive. Venus's long legs could carry her cross-court in a couple of strides. At 130 miles per hour, her serve broke a world record. Serena chased down every ball, drilling them back to her opponents with high-powered ground strokes. "I hate losing more than I love winning," Serena told reporters. Life on the professional circuit meant traveling to tournaments and trekking as a family across the world to the Australian Open, French Open, Wimbledon in England, and New York City's U.S. Open to compete in one Grand Slam event after the next. Not wanting to be separated during tournaments, the sisters shared hotel rooms, but the crowds loved it when they shared a court. Sister Act, Smash Sisters, Sister Sister, Sister Slam, headlines screamed. Tickets were hard to come by on the days Venus and Serena were scheduled to play each other. In doubles, knowing each other as well as they did paid off with win after win, but on opposite sides of the court, they were competitors first, sisters second. At the Australian Open in 1998, Venus and Serena cheered each other as they both advanced. But each win also brought them closer to playing against each other. When they both advanced to the third round, they stood on opposite sides of the court for the very first time. Venus was focused, but Serena, at 16 years old, in her first major tournament, was shaky. The match started slowly, each cautiously watching the game unfold against the opponent, who knew her best. In their first set, Venus edged ahead after a tiebreak. Serena looked to the players' box where her family sat, quiet for the first time. In the next set, Venus took control. Heads turned from left to right, right to left for a Venus victory, 7-6 and 6-1. Serena was as sad for her loss as she was happy for Venus's win. But then Venus kept winning, match after match, year after year, in each of their matchups. "She knows how to beat me and knows my weaknesses better than anyone," Serena said of her big sister. In 2000, they traveled to Sydney, Australia for the Olympics and returned home wearing the gold medals they earned together for the United States in doubles. In 2002, they faced each other again in the finals of the French Open. With each round she advanced, Serena pushed aside thoughts of their earlier matches and of Venus's successes. While their family again sat quietly in the stands, Venus served big for the first set and took the lead. But Serena broke serve and won. The second set was hard-fought, and the sisters rallied with down-the-line combinations, skating from sideline to baseline until the final match point, when Venus cracked the ball into the net and the moment belonged to Serena. In 2 sets of 7-5 and 6-3, a victorious Serena stepped out of the shadow of her sister. Venus ran off the court as the curious eyes of the crowd followed her. High into the stands, Venus sprinted, snatched up her bag, and pulled out a camera. "Nothing can keep me from celebrating when my best friend wins a match," Venus said proudly. The crowd stood to applaud, and Venus snapped shot after shot of Serena on the victory stand. Ranked number 1 and 2 in the world, Venus now followed Serena, Mika and V, 2 peas in a pod, best friends and sisters, celebrated being numbers 1 and 2 in life and in tennis. And that's the end of the story. Now that we've completed the story part of the video, it's time for the quiz to see how well all of you were paying attention to the story. Now the first question. What U.S. state did the 2 sisters grow up in? Was it A, Virginia, B, Massachusetts, or C, California? If you said C, California, you're correct. Now for the next question. Who is older, Venus or Serena? You're right, Venus is older. And now the final question. At the end of the book, who won the final match? Was it A, Serena, B, it was a tie, or C, was it Venus? It was A, Serena. Now that we've completed the story and the quiz portions, it's time for everyone's favorite part, the activity. So for the activity today, since we know that Venus and Serena were not only sisters but best friends, we're going to be doing something very sweet. If you have a sister at home, or if you don't have any siblings, that's completely fine. You could do it for your best friend or for a Girl Scout sister. We're going to be making cards to thank them for being like very supportive of you, or just appreciating them and thanking them for loving you. It can be whatever sweet thing you want it to be. All right, let's go make one. All right, so here we have our blank piece of paper, our pencil, and our markers. Okay, so first thing we do with a card is we're going to be folding it. Doesn't have to be perfect. Mine isn't perfect. So it's just a little card. So you can do literally anything you want. You can design it however you want. What I'm going to be doing for the front, I'm just going to draw a cute little heart. Never has to be perfect. Then you can write whatever you want on the inside. And then you can draw whatever you want. You can like draw a smiley face, draw a heart. You can draw rainbows. You can draw whatever maybe your sister likes to do. So I'm going to be writing. My sister's name is Kenzie, so I'm going to be writing. Thank you, Kenzie, for being a lovely and supportive sister. It can be as long or as short, whatever you want. But I like short and sweet. Don't forget to sign it. And then we can draw some smiley faces. We can draw some rainbows. Bunch of hearts. Because I do like me some hearts. Alright. Do whatever you want because it's your sister or friend or Girl Scout sister. You can put whatever they like. And now we're all going to color it. Ready, set, wish. Wish. And now we have our beautiful card colored. I'm going to write my sister's name. Okay. So the most important thing about this is to make sure that your sister or friend or whatever receives the card, and make sure you thank them for being lovable and amazing or whatever you want to say. I hope you all enjoyed my video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!